MegaPodTastic.
Good morning, Mega Podlings. Krazy Joe here. Today we are going to talk about Aquaman. I saw the Aquaman movie. I asked my wife if she could, I asked my wife if she could come on and talk Aquaman with me, but she was feeling very tired tonight. She went right to bed. I can't blame her. We've had a very, very busy week. We've been taking part, my wife and I, in something called, I've mentioned it on this channel before, the dog days of podcasting. Right now it's the dog days of Advent, where we do a different podcast every single day between December 2nd and Christmas Day. So every day we've had to have a podcast out, and we have a child who doesn't want to sleep, a 3-year-old who doesn't want to sleep, and our lives have been crazy. So I don't blame her for being tired. Quite frankly, I'm exhausted, but I have to keep editing podcasts, getting a new podcast out every day, and then I have to do videos for you guys too, which I say have to. It's a joy. It's a joy doing videos. You know, it's not like this is the hardest job in the world, you know, but I enjoy doing it. So that's why, you know, I can't blame Christine. I can't blame her at all. Anyway, it's a shame, though, because I would like to get her perspective, because she has a unique perspective on things. So, we saw Aquaman the other day. It opens in theaters this Friday. I'm recording this Wednesday night, and it opens wide Friday. But last weekend, on Saturday, they had a Amazon Prime screening, it was called, which meant if you are a member of Amazon Prime, you had an early access to buy tickets for a screening 1 week early. Now, this is similar. I did a review with Dave Perillo on Bumblebee. Paramount did a similar thing with Bumblebee 2 weeks early. So we saw Bumblebee 2 weeks early. We saw Aquaman 1 week early. But you had to be a member of Amazon Prime to buy the tickets. They were full price. It's not like you got any kind of discount. It wasn't a free screening. It wasn't a press screening. It was a normal screening just 1 week early, and you had to be a Prime member to take part. So we went. We're very excited. Now, little bit of background on where we stand on the DC Cinematic Universe. The DC Cinematic Universe started with Man of Steel. Christine and I both hated Man of Steel. Hate it. Absolutely hate it. I can go on and on and on and on all the reasons I hate that movie. Batman v Superman. Big improvement. I actually like that movie, but it's a flawed movie. It's a very flawed movie, and in my opinion, the flaws mainly stem from Man of Steel. It's errors they made in Man of Steel that carried over. Basically, I don't like the portrayal of Superman in either Man of Steel or Batman v Superman. Now, in Batman v Superman, it's the same portrayal of Superman as a broody, depressed, you know. That's not Superman to me. And that was Superman in Man of Steel. That was Superman in Batman v Superman. Now, I can cut Batman v Superman some slack because it was a carryover from the previous film. There has to be some continuity. I understand you can't just totally rewrite the guy's personality between movies. It's going to be a little jarring. So the continuity from one film to the other, I understand he kind of has to be the same. So I cut him slack there, but I still don't like it. I thought Batman v Superman did a brilliant thing by killing off Superman so that we could then resurrect him, because then it makes sense. Then it makes sense when his personality changes, because he's gone through a literal rebirth. So Justice League comes out, and Henry Cavill's Superman, the same Henry Cavill Superman I hated in the previous two films, was one of my favorite parts of Justice League. Justice League was the first film to get Superman right in this series. It felt very Chris Reeve to me. When he came back from the dead in Justice League, and spoiler alert, he comes back from the dead in Justice League. Everybody knew he was going to come back from the dead. I don't understand why Warner Brothers tried to keep that a secret. I think that was a marketing mistake. But when he came back, man, that was the Superman we know and love. So my opinion of the DC Cinematic Universe is it went from rock bottom with Man of Steel and just continuously got better. And Joss Whedon's Justice League is my favorite film in the DC Cinematic Universe. I love Justice League. Now, my wife, being a hardcore Wonder Woman fan, She thinks Wonder Woman is I think her favorite is Wonder Woman, then Justice League. My favorite's Justice League, then Wonder Woman. So that's how we went into Aquaman. We were very excited about Aquaman. We both like the character of Aquaman. My wife is very enamored with undersea things. She loves going to the aquarium. She's got an obsession with mermaids, loves mermaids. So anything underwater, you've got her attention. You've got her attention. I mentioned that when I was reviewing the IMAX discs that Mill Creek sent. I said, you know, my wife's going to go nuts for this one. So that was right up her alley. Well, we went in, and man, and I'm sorry I didn't get to shoot at the theater. It just was a really busy day, though. We were trying to make our movie, The Babysitter. We had to feed the babysitter and get dinner, and it was just go, go, go. We made it to the theater by the skin of our teeth. We really didn't have time to shoot in the theater. So what do we think of the movie? Both of us really, really enjoyed it. I think everyone should go see Aquaman. I think it's going to be a crowd pleaser. I think it's going to be really well received. I think all the people who were naysayers about the DC Cinematic Universe, I think they're going to turn themselves around when they see Aquaman. Now, first of all, Aquaman's directed by James Wan. James Wan is a great director. He's a terrific director. He made the Conjuring movies. He made the first couple of Insidious movies. He made the original Saw. And I would go as far as to say that Saw, as popular as that movie is, I think it's probably the weakest movie he ever did. I mean, Saw is, it's a good horror movie. I mean, if you're not a horror fan, there's not much in Saw for you. It's definitely for fans of the horror genre. But, as far as horror movies go, it's a fairly well done one. But the movies he did after, like especially those Conjuring movies, they really showed a talent beyond the horror genre. Those are good horror movies. Those are good drama movies. Those are just good movies across the board. And then he went on and did a Fast and the Furious movie. I think it was number 7. Got to be honest, I'm not a fan of the Fast and Furious franchise. Didn't actually see his Fast and the Furious because I'm not a fan of the franchise. But from everything I hear, it's one of the most well-received ones in that franchise. So James Wan is a guy who's got talent. So as soon as I heard his name was attached to Aquaman a couple of years ago, I was like, man, I'm on board. James Wan doing Aquaman, you got me. I'm sold. Then we saw Justice League. And we got Aquaman for the first time. I mean, he had a quick blink and you miss him cameo in Batman v Superman. But Justice League was the first movie where we got to see Jason Momoa in the role as Aquaman. He was really, really good in the part. He was really likable. He, brought a lot of charisma to it. I'm like, okay, all right, I'm on board. I'm on board. Let's see how this plays out. What can I say about this movie, man? The world building. The world building in Aquaman is insane. It is insane. Atlantis, holy cow, it'll blow you away. It's epic. Epic is the word for it, man. Epic is the word. It is huge. It is big. It is imaginative. It is wild. It is crazy. You got people riding on sharks, riding on sea dragons, riding on the backs of them. You have, I think this has been reported elsewhere, there's an octopus who plays the drums in it. And like, this all just sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy, but the world build, I can't do it justice. I can't do it justice explaining it. This is something you just got to see for yourself. It is like, best part of the movie. Best part of the movie is the world building for Atlantis. Atlantis feels like a real place and a crazy, like wild and crazy place. So I saw a light blinking behind me, and it turns out it's on the camera. I'm looking at a light blinking on the camera, and I thought something behind me was blinking. That distracted me. I apologize. Momoa is good. Amber Heard is good as Mera. Patrick Wilson from the Conjuring films and from the Insidious films is in there as the big bad of the film, Aquaman's half-brother Orm, Ocean Master. Who, Ocean Master is Aquaman's archenemy from the comics as well. And he's really good in it. We've got some comic book movie veterans coming back for their second comic book movie. We've got the Green Goblin himself, Willem Dafoe from Spider-Man, is back as Vulko, who trained Aquaman. And we've got Nicole Kidman, Batman Forever's Nicole Kidman, Dr. Chase Meridian. She is Aquaman's mother. And Jango Fett. Jango Fett, Tamura Morrison. Did I get his name right? I may have mispronounced his name. He plays Aquaman's human father. It is, man, this movie's fun. And I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say it. And granted, the competition isn't fierce. It's not fierce competition if you look at what came before. But Black Manta is in this movie. And I will say, Black Manta, coolest supervillain of the DC Cinematic Universe yet. We have not seen a villain as cool as Black Manta yet. But Man of Steel's General Zod, Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor, Steppenwolf in Justice League. Let's be honest, the villains of the DC Cinematic Universe really haven't been that much to speak of. So it's not tough competition. But Black Manta is legitimately cool. There's a scene where Black Manta, it's in the trailers, you can see a little snippet of it in the trailers. Black Manta is chasing Aquaman and Mera through Sicily and attacking them with his, lasers, cool scene. I am giving this movie a big recommendation. I highly recommend Aquaman. Check it out. Now, here is what I will tell you, and I'm surprised to say this because I'm a fan of the Aquaman character, and I'm a fan of James Wan. So, I would have expected that Aquaman would have been my top movie this holiday season. That's what I would have expected based on my love of the character and my being a fan of the director. But I have to say, having seen several other movies that are out right now, Aquaman is not actually the best movie out right now. Now, I do recommend you see it. I do. It's entertaining, and I highly recommend it. It's going to be a crowd pleaser. But it's not as good as Bumblebee. And it shocks me to be saying that. It shocks me to be saying Bumblebee is the better movie. But, man, Bumblebee came out of nowhere. It really came out of nowhere. I was not expecting Bumblebee to be the movie that it is. Like I've said many times, I'm not a fan of the Michael Bay Transformers movies. So, Bumblebee only had to be better than a Michael Bay Transformers movie. Not a high bar. It only had to be better than a Michael Bay Transformers movie for me to say it's good. To my surprise, it's not just good, it's great. It's great. It's one of the year's best films, and I'm shocked to say that. I didn't expect I'd be saying that, but I gotta say it. I gotta say Aquaman, great. Bumblebee, better. But that's not a knock on Aquaman. That's me praising Bumblebee, not tearing Aquaman down. Aquaman is still good. It's still entertaining. Still worth your time. And I highly recommend both films. This is going to be a crazy Christmas season, man, because Mary Poppins Returns comes out today. As I'm shooting this, Mary Poppins Returns comes out. And that's supposed to be really good. I haven't seen that one yet. I can't comment on that one yet, but that's also pretty good, and I don't think it's going to compete at the box office with these other monsters, but Robert Zemeckis' Welcome to Marwen looks really good, too. So, man, what a holiday season. Oh, and a little smaller release that I'm going to be seeing. I'll be able to tell you about this in a couple days. There's a musical Christmas zombie movie out in a smaller release called Anna and the Apocalypse that's getting really positive buzz. So, man, what a holiday season. My fear is with all these good movies, out, something's going to get lost in the shuffle. Something is going to not make the money it deserves to make. Not because it's bad, but just because of the volume of good movies that are out right now. Now, the one good thing about Aquaman is it's already a hit. Hasn't even opened in the United States yet. It's already a hit because apparently it opened humongous in China. It's going gangbusters in China. it's my understanding that Warner Brothers has already given the green light to the sequel just based on the Chinese box office. Because they looked at the Chinese box office and they're like, oh, we're good. Whatever it does in the U.S., we're already good. So Aquaman's already a hit. And it hasn't even opened here yet. But I am rambling now. I just am amazed at how many good movies there are out right now. And there's another one. There's another one. I didn't even mention Into the Spider-Verse. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is out right now, and I'm going to do another video on Into the Spider-Verse, so stay tuned for that one. But until next time, oh, and I forgot to tell you, my wife, Christine, as much as I liked Aquaman, she liked it even more. She was crazy about it because, like I said, she's really into underwater things. She's into mermaids. Like, she said this movie was like just so tapped into her imagination and her wheelhouse of the aquatic underwater stuff that just, as much as I liked it, she liked it even more. So, one more thing. Some people had asked how much Aquaman wears the orange and green suit. I think it was Joey Baseball. And I think I already answered him on the CinemaSickness live stream the other night. But in case it wasn't Joey Baseball, I can tell you it's about the last half hour of the film. The orange and green comes into play last half hour or so of the film. And it totally makes sense. I don't want to give any spoilers, but it's very appropriate when the costume comes in. You're like, ah, yes, this was the right time for the costume. So keep wearing those pajamas and check out Aquaman.
Keep wearing those pajamas with the plastic feet. Keep wearing those pajamas. Tell everyone you meet. Keep wearing those pajamas with the back door flap. Keep wearing those pajamas. Don't open, it's a trap. Oh no, it's a trap. Some people call them bitches, some people call them jammies. They can come embroidered with big money and no whammies. They can have 100 tiny commander adamas, but no matter how they look, just keep on wearing those pajamas. Keep on wearing those pajamas. Keep wearing those pajamas. And now we're having fun. Keep wearing those pajamas. And now the song is done.